What's up everybody, it's Sean here, back today with my final countdown video of 2024. If you've been following my channel even a little bit over the last couple years, you probably guessed that I've become a huge fan of New Balance. They've done some incredible things this year, not only selling out existing silhouettes like the 990 V4, but also introducing brand new silhouettes like the 991 V2, which has been extremely popular, and of course, the continued popularity of models like the 1906R. So this year has been filled with not only limited collaborations, but also incredible general release colorways, so I hope I captured a good mix of those in my top 20 list. And before I go in any further, just like my general top 20 sneaker pickup video that I posted on my channel previously, I only counted in this video the sneakers that I picked up and kept for my personal collection. So anything that I had bought, reviewed, and then sold off, basically if I don't have it in my hands anymore, I couldn't count it in this video. And also pairs that I'm waiting for in the mail, for example, the Aura Lee 990 V4, that probably would have been a top 5 New Balance pickup for me, but I'm still waiting for it in transit, so I don't physically have it with me. So because of that, I've left it off this list. So starting the list at number 20, we have the New Balance 991 V2, part of their City Edition or City Pack in the European exclusive Spindle Tree or Green colorway. So this was kind of a fun idea that New Balance did. They released a handful of exclusive colorways that were available at select regions. So for example, we had a yellow colorway that I also picked up that was exclusive to Australia, I believe, and Korea. There was a red colorway that was exclusive to China, and then this green colorway, which I thought was the best of the pack. This was only available at Star Cow Paris in Europe. So these city exclusive or regional exclusive packs isn't something new, but it's kind of a fun way for people to try to collect them all. So for this green colorway, I think it complements the gray and the black accents the best. It's a very vibrant, very bold shade of green, but it's different from your classic forest green or army green that are commonly paired with New Balance silhouettes. So this gives it more of a fun, more of a lively look. And the 991 V2 has been an incredible hit for the brand this year, so I thought it was worthy of having its spot on my top 20. Next up at number 19, we had the Frank Pellegrino New Balance 997 in this Paris exclusive colorway. So this was part of a collection that was released exclusively in Paris, coinciding with the Paris Summer Olympics. So I want to give a shout out over to WebPix on Instagram. We just follow each other on Instagram, but I don't know him personally. But he, out of his own generosity, offered to purchase these for me for retail and ship them over to me from Paris all the way here to Toronto. So this 997 colorway basically reintroduced the New Balance 997 after a few years being put back in New Balance's archives. So this colorway is a very unique, very sophisticated and refined colorway. It not only reminds me of Christmas with the green and red hits, but has almost like a refined look to it. So not only is the colorway in itself very special, but the story behind how I got these in hand is even more special. And I thought this was a great way for New Balance to bring back the 997. Moving on to number 18, we have the Joe Freshgoods New Balance 990 V6 in this Prom to Paris pack in the blue colorway. So Joe Freshgoods has been a constant collaborator with New Balance, and for this year, he released this Prom to Paris collection, which featured 2 colorways of the 990 V6, a more exclusive red colorway, and this one, which I thought was the better of the 2. This is purely my personal opinion, but I love the shade of blue that they use on this shoe. The red pair, it is dope, and it's definitely a head turner, but I don't really feel like all red shoes are quite back in style yet, whereas something like this, I think it's a bit easier for me to pull off. So this pair doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but the fact that they covered this 990 V6, which is typically seen in more neutral, wearable tones, in this very eye-catching light blue shade, I think it shows you the risks that Joe Freshgoods is willing to take with his collaborations, and I really think it worked out on this silhouette. It's a very comfortable sneaker, and I can only imagine how many heads are gonna turn when I rock these when the weather gets a little bit drier outside. Next up at number 17, we have the Salehe Bembury New Balance 1906R from the Heat Be Hot collection in this lava colorway. These released very early on in 2024, so a lot of you guys might have forgot that these actually dropped in this year. And I know the release behind this collection was very poorly done, and both of the colorways that dropped were released in very limited numbers. But there's something to be said about Salehe Bembury collaborations. They are never safe, he always takes it to the extreme, and this is a classic example of that. People have been calling this like the Hot Wheels colorway because of how flashy and how kid-like it almost is. But very similar to what I say about Action Bronson collaborations, it's the craziness of the colorway that really makes it work. So this has this fiery colored mesh upper. We have these silver loud hits all over the sneaker. And obviously there's something to be said about how limited these are. If you look at the current resale prices on this shoe, they're over 1,200 Canadian dollars, which is ridiculous. For me though, this is a personal pair. I've already rocked these. And this is a pair where if you want to have a statement on your foot, this is a great option for you to wear. So in contrast to number 17, at number 16, we're going complete 180, and I selected the 991 V2 in the understated Nimbus Cloud colorway. So the 991 V2 has had an incredible year, and one of my favorite colorways to drop is a general release, which is the Nimbus Cloud colorway. This is a quintessential, very basic, very wearable colorway, but it still looks amazing with the various shades of cream, off-white, and gray. And it's one of those safe shoes that I've been turning to if I don't want to stress about picking what to wear and having it match my outfit. And it's an extremely comfortable silhouette as well. So I thought, even though it's a GR and there's really no hype surrounding it, I think it's definitely worthy of being in my top 20. Moving on to number 15, we have the Action Bronson New Balance 1906R in this Medusa Azul colorway. So of the three pairs of the 1906R that Action Bronson dropped this year, this one was, for most people, the most accessible, and it's probably the most wearable of the three. It teeters the line between being wearable, but at the same time, having unique characteristics about it, like the multi-shades of blue on the upper, these beige hits which give it a little bit of a contrast, and the silver accents. So as far as Action Bronson's color palettes goes, this one I'd say is pretty safe, which I think a lot of people appreciated, and I feel like the list wouldn't have felt complete if I had left these off. Moving on to number 14, we have the size exclusive colorway of the 860 V2 in this Bacon colorway. Size and New Balance have a storied history with each other, and this continues that with this exclusive colorway, which unofficially pays homage to the classic Air Max 90 Bacon. So the New Balance 860 V2 is a personal favorite of mine. I love the sleekness of the silhouette, while it still retains the incredible comfort with the tooling that we see on the 1906R or 2002R. So for this Bacon colorway, it's a tested and true color palette with the cream, brown, and red accents. I think it's just a great colorway of the 860 V2, and probably one that a lot of people have forgot even dropped this year. Moving on to number 13, we have the Salehe Bembury New Balance 530 in this Prosperity Be the Prize colorway. This pair I feel like a lot of people were not big fans of, because first of all, the 530 silhouette probably isn't the silhouette of choice when it comes to New Balance purists. And of course, if you look at the colorway of this shoe, it's definitely not safe. It features this kind of neon green or neon yellow upper with these purple hits. It's not a shoe that you would say is a safe choice. And for me personally, I love how wild and how out there this colorway is. So even though a lot of you out there might not be fans of this, I thought it was worthy of being on my list. Moving on to number 12, we have the New Balance 1906A from the Tech Explosion Pack in this silver metallic and Castle Rock colorway. So the 1906R has been extremely popular for New Balance over the past couple of years, and they've done a few variations on that. This one is the 1906A, which gives the silhouette more of a deconstructed and almost unfinished look. So for example, we have these extended straps on the side, we have these flaps which are not stitched down. And to be honest, when I first saw the images of this, I wasn't that sold. But as cliche as it sounds, once I got these in hand and once I reviewed them, they really grew on me. I think it sets itself apart from a normal 1906R while still retaining the same tooling, so we have that same incredible comfort underfoot. Moving on to number 11, we have the Footpatrol New Balance 1906R in this X-Ray colorway. In a year where Nike also released an X-Ray Kobe 5, I think this is the best X-Ray themed shoe to release this year. Maybe I'm biased, but I thought Footpatrol and New Balance really executed this perfectly. The upper of the shoe reminds you of the classic look of looking at bones taken via an X-ray, and then how it's paired with this cream colored midsole with these red colored hits. I think it complements the otherwise darker upper very, very well. And of course we have these Easter eggs like the bone graphic on the insole, so it's not quite as in your face as like the Kobe 5 X-Ray, but at the same time, it still exudes the theme of the shoe very, very well. So now we're at the halfway point of my list, and at number 10, we have the Kith 990 V4 in this moonrock colorway. There's something to be said about Kith New Balance collaborations. This pair is a great example of understated premium luxury, in that it really doesn't need any bells and whistles. It just gives us a good quality, very wearable, but at the same time, slightly different shade of color on the upper, which is what this moonrock 990 V4 is. There's nothing on this shoe that screams Kith, and the branding is kept at a minimum like on the heel and on the insole. But for New Balance purists out there that just want a good quality, nice looking sneaker, and especially for those that are big fans of Kith like myself, this is a great example of a pair done right. So I feel like you can either dress up or dress down this shoe, and the wearability of it makes it really, really solid. Next up on my list at number 9, we have the Concepts collaboration with New Balance on the 1906U. This one's called the Hours and Days, aka the Seal colorway. So Concepts is another one of those brands that has had an incredible history with New Balance. And for this 1906U, they've leveraged the Seal 999 colorway, but I thought it was adopted so well on the 1906. If you look at this shoe, you can see how the medial sides and the lateral sides are a little bit different. And it brings back one of their most recognizable and iconic collaborations, but onto modern times on the 1906U. So it feels extremely comfortable underfoot. And I love the color palette on this shoe. We have these neutral hits with these loud accents of blue on the heel cup and on the medial side, giving it just enough pop, but at the same time, still making it very wearable. And in fact, the Seal 999s was one of my first, if not the first, New Balance sneaker that I fell in love with. So when they dropped this pair, I knew I had to add this pair to my personal collection. Moving on to number 8, we have the Teddy Santis New Balance 993 in this chive colorway. For me, this was one of, if not the best, made in USA New Balance sneaker from New Balance this year. I know the hype surrounding Teddy Santis' campaigns haven't been as strong as they have been in years past, but I think this Chive 993 was a clear winner. Since I saw the initial leaks or promo images of this shoe, there's just something about this shade of green that really popped, and it drew me to it right away. It's just a beautiful shade of green, and we know how comfortable the 993 is, so it's kind of like a perfect match. So I'll admit, I haven't picked up as many core made in USA silhouettes that I have in years past, but combining the comfort, the unique shade of color, and the quality that still exists for the most part for made in USA New Balance sneakers, this pair was definitely worthy of being a top 10 pickup for me. Next up on my list at number 7, we have the Up There collaboration with New Balance on the 860 V2 in this green and blue colorway. So Australian-based boutique Up There is no stranger when it comes to collabs with New Balance. And one of the collabs they dropped this year was this 860 V2, and this was one of my favorites this year. Just looking at the colorway of this shoe, it's kind of a unique take, but I think in a strange way, it really comes together well. So this pairing of green, blue, and really I think these pink colored laces really ties it all together in a strange, random way. Maybe it's more of an acquired taste, and it's probably one of those things where you either really like this shoe or you just don't like it at all. But the randomness of the color choices on the shoe, they really work well together. The 860 V2, like I had previously mentioned, is a great silhouette for me. Again, I love how sleek the silhouette is, while still retaining a lot of comfort. So Up There, kudos to you guys and of course to New Balance for releasing such an inventive and creative colorway that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have included on their top 20 list. Next up at number 6, we have another general release colorway. This one is the Pelican in Orange 991 V2. So if you watch my top 20 sneaker pickup video, then you probably know what the remaining pairs on this list are gonna be. But for this Pelican pair, I think this is a great example of how New Balance is really successful because not only are they selling out their collaborations, but GRs like this one are doing very well on the market as well. So this is a great winter colorway. The different shades of gray, this blacked out end logo, which I love, and these orange hits really match the vibe and the mood of winter, but at the same time giving us just enough pop with these orange colored hits to make it stand on its own. I love the 991 V2 model, and again, even though this is a GR, it shows you how well New Balance has been doing this year. And almost like it's copy and paste, but at number 5, we have another example of this with this 991 V2 in the silver blue and turbulence colorway. This, while technically was a general release, I think these were a little bit more limited. I don't think they actually dropped in Canada. But this colorway really helped to push the popularity of the 991 V2. As for example, leading up to and during the release of this pair, you can see people were really going crazy for this on Reddit, for example. People were trying to figure out when they were gonna be releasing, which boutiques were gonna carry them, even though it didn't have like a celebrity or a designer attached to it as a collaboration. So this is a beautiful colorway. If you ask any New Balance head out there, what their thoughts are about this pair, more likely than not, they're gonna be singing their praises. Moving on to number 4, we have the Frank Pellegrino New Balance 990 V6 in this Paris exclusive colorway. So this pair released alongside the 997 that I had earlier on in my list. And while the 997 is great, this one I thought was the better pair of the two. The 990 V6 is one of the brand's most popular and most comfortable silhouettes, and I think having this limited edition Paris colorway exclusive only to Paris was a great idea, not only for New Balance fans or New Balance collectors out there, but I thought it was a great way to celebrate the city of Paris and the Summer Olympics. So just like the Paris 997s, I think the colorway of this shoe is very unique. It has this great, almost Christmas vibe to it, but at the same time, it feels very sophisticated and very elegant. So it's kind of a unique pairing when you think of the 990 V6, especially when you compare it to some of the past 990s as more of a youthful and high energy design. So by incorporating more of a classic, mature color palette on it, I think it's a great contrast and it works very well. So now we're at my top 3. And taking home the bronze at number 3, we have the Action Bronson New Balance 1906R in the Scorpio colorway. So this pair of the 3 that released this year was Action Bronson's most limited 1906R. These are reselling for a lot of money right now, but that's not the reason why I have these so high. Even though it's not the most wearable of the 3, there's something about the loudness of this colorway, and something I forgot to mention in my other video was the uniqueness of the materials of the upper. So you can see it has this very textured feel and look to it. So it wasn't just a simple play on the color choices of the shoe, there's also a lot of thought and intention behind the materials too. So this might not be the most popular pick on most people's lists, but it's a colorway I was really feeling. And it feels even more special because I was able to grab these for retail. So my first runner-up when it comes to the New Balance pickup of the year goes to the Kith 1906R in this white and blue colorway. I feel like this release might have gone under the radar for a lot of people because when you look at the colorway of this shoe, it's really understated. There's really nothing about it that really screams Kith. It's a pretty basic, pretty wearable colorway, but I find that colorways like this are the ones that end up getting the most wear in my personal collection. So Kith has had an incredible year this year, but across all the other brands that they collaborated with in the footwear, apparel, and accessory space. But for me, this was their best collaboration with New Balance this year, incorporating a subtly unique color palette on this shoe while still retaining the great comfort of the 1906R and still being able to actually have Kith branding on the upper in a subtle way, but still distinguishing it from just being an exclusive colorway sold at Kith stores to actually being a true Kith collaboration. So hats off to Ronnie Flag and Kith, this pair for sure is incredible. So this leaves us with one. My final and favorite New Balance pickup of 2024 goes to the Action Bronson 1906R in this Rosewater colorway. Like I mentioned in my other video, this was the best New Balance sneaker pickup of the year for me, and this is for many reasons. 1, I was able to grab these for retail. 2, even though Action Bronson is known for his strange color choices, you're not gonna find any other shoe on the market that replicates the look of this shoe. It's such a strange, unique color combination. But I think by leaving the upper of the shoe mostly off-white or light colored, it allows the loud hits on the rest of the shoe to really shine. And last but not least, the material choices and how they tweak the look of the classic 1906R, that needs to be mentioned too. Removing the usual busy overlays on the upper gives the shoe more of a sleek appearance, but at the same time, they were still able to give us quality materials like the suede toe cap and these bright green rope laces. All of this put together makes this an incredible sneaker. And for all those reasons, this is why this is my favorite New Balance pickup of 2024. So there you have it. This is my top 20 New Balance pickup list of this year. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What did I miss out on? I know there's a lot of mention of the Jack Harlows, for example. I just wasn't a big fan of the look of the shoe. And like I mentioned previously, the Oralee 990 V4, that I'm still waiting in the mail. That should have had a spot in the top 20, as that collaboration was really incredible too. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, check me out on X at sean.go spelt out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate your continued love and support. The comments I've been getting since I've returned have been amazing, and it's truly heartwarming to read. So thank you again, Happy New Year in advance if I don't see you before then, and I'll catch you all in my next video.